It is the 6th model of Horuma ongoing 7 Lucky Gods series. It is SFJ05 Hotei Puushen, with the kit of Perfect Guard, ACG Shot, HC Buster, Float Legs, and the leg ability of Charge Shot, which grants a buff to success and power of equipped shooting parts upon a certain Metaforce charge being maintained. Now, as the 6th model in an already very imposing series that has made its power incredibly clear from day one with Ben Tensada, Hotei Puushen is most certainly no exception to that, with a very imposing and very powerful shooting kit right from start, and being float-legged no less makes this already dangerous threat on the field even more of a nightmare to pretty much anyone that will be facing before him on the field. Perfect Guard on the head is a defense-based skill that, while active on the line, guarantees that all incoming hits for 2 charges will be nullified at 0 damage. Of course, this means that it can be countered by anyone using Destroy, Terminate, Disaster, or anything of the like that can be used as a shield buster. Slip can also be used to cancel it, but anything else nullified at 0 damage, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. ACG Shot on the right arm is a relatively unique shooting skill that has a rather interesting behavior and mechanic, but in the right hands can be absolutely catastrophic to anyone that is Metaforce reliant on damage bonuses. That being said, ACG Shot upon attacking the target will check not your Metaforce gauge for bonus damage, but the opponent and their target's Metaforce gauge. That means the more Metaforce charge they have built up, it will deal even more punish damage on top of that, making it again an absolute threat and nightmare to anyone that uses, say, full charge, auto charge like ability, charge plant, or anything else of the like to maintain that charge for sustain and bonuses. This will absolutely spell doom for them. HC Buster on the left arm is a newer skill, and Hotei Puushen will be officially introducing it on a non-collab model. But explaining it simply, HC Buster, or High Charge Buster, is basically just a more powerful version of Charge Buster, which we have seen in the game pretty much since day one at this point. But upon attacking the target, it will damage them based on 300% of the user's charge gauge. So a full charge will give you an absolutely high and massive damage bonus, but at the caveat that it will take 30% of your Metaforce charge upon use. If it's fully capped at 5-star, it will instead only take 15. This means that, unlike regular Charge Buster, you can't as easily maintain that full Metaforce sustain with this unless you can break multiple parts at once, because it's taking a lot more of a charge upon use, and if you don't break the part, you're going to be dealing significantly less damage before you break something again. Float Legs means that it will have very solid coverage across pretty much all terrains at A rank across the board, and of course with the current pattern, this one is the float leg of the 7. So A rank across the board when it comes to terrain matching, S rank on Cyber of course, and when it comes to stats across the board, Hotei Puushen is honestly kind of a monster in that respect. With a head HP of about 5,700, above average, but also to be expected for shield-based parts like this. Really can't ever go wrong with that with high HP, even if it is Perfect Guard in this case. Arms at about 3,750 and 4,100 each, and the legs at 4,650 means that Hotei Puushen is definitely packing a very healthy HP pool, as expected of a mixed shooter-defender type of role that he is. When it comes to his float leg stats, again, as expected, essentially a boss-type bots of this point, definitely going to be packing some higher-end specs on there too. A mobility of 851 before any modifiers is again completely expected and par for the course for powerful boss types like him, so he's already going to be packing a very good base speed right from start. An evade of 1012 also is nice, as it means that he mostly will have a pretty solid, relatively easy time dodging or grazing a lot of incoming attacks. A melee resist of 732 is probably going to be one of his biggest weaknesses though, as it does mean that anyone that does manage to get up close and personal in his space will absolutely lay waste to this Lucky God type faster than he'd really intend. But he absolutely does combat with an absurdly high shoot resist at over 2100 in this case. That means if you are planning to take this guy on, definitely leave the shooting parts at home, because with that high resist stat, it's going to be essentially a lost cause trying to leave any lasting damage on this guy. The charge shot leg ability does also tie into him moderately well between ACG shot and HC buster, as it means he will have an easier time having hits land or be crits, and have a higher damage bonus once he maintains a certain Metaforce threshold. That being said, though, as a pure set score, I still do have to rate him moderately well-rounded at about a 7.5 out of 10. Perfect guard, you really can't ever go wrong with anywhere. ACG shots, great for punishing Metaforce nukers. HC Buster, good for once you do get a charge up and running, and synergizes very well with charge shot. And of course, float legs means he will have good coverage across all terrains, as I mentioned, which means that even though he is kind of Metaforce reliant on his own, you still can moderately easily use him out of the box without really needing any prep work behind it. As mixed parts, I do very easily have to rate him significantly higher at an 8.5 out of 10. Even though his synergy as a pure set is there, mixed parts is definitely going to be where it's at. Perfect guard, you can fit just about anywhere, even if it is a heavy part. Same can be said for ACG shot or HC buster in this case, and the legs are definitely going to be where a lot of his charm is at. Even if you do have to comp that low melee resist with, say, a shield or someone that can intercept melee attacks for him, that absurdly high shoot resist is going to be a very, very big plus point for him, as it means that even the most powerful kind of shooting attacks, such as microwave or ghost shot, are going to end up being nothing more than just love taps at that point, because you have such a high resistance to them.